Hello and welcome, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I always do that. I always say good morning. It's actually good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. I will get better at that. I promise. We have a great show with an amazing panel with us here today. We have a panel of regulars. The first thing I'd like to do, I'm going to adjust the board slightly here to introduce our guests. First, let's do that and that. There we go. Okay. First and foremost, immediately to my left, which would be your right on the screen, folks, I want to acknowledge the Gilk Man, the one and only Thomas Gilkey, who is, in one of my humble opinion, one of the best, most honest, authentic people you will ever find on any platform, whether it be Twitter or YouTube, primarily YouTube, where he expresses himself very eloquently and from the heart. And a person I refer to as the heart of the fandom menace, Thomas Gilkman. Welcome, Thomas. How are you today?
Hail, CultureCasino. Thank you for having me on. Hail to the incredible, beautiful, sexy people on the panel. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. And, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Thomas. I've been wanting to get you here for a while. This is going to be a fun day. We've got lots to talk about. We are going to keep the news of the day, anything outside of the entertainment threshold, out of our discussions today. So, if you're trying to look for an escape, we are truly going to provide one as much as we can. So, thank you, Thomas. You are a voice that needs to be heard when it comes to some of these subjects. So, I really appreciate you being here. Just next to Thomas is our good friend and sometimes panelist, Machiny90, who's also one of my mods. He's also an artist for my channel, probably one of the most talented creators that has recently joined us in the fourth wave. And as the fifth wave begins, I imagine he will help them with art and many other things, because that's just how good-natured and he's got a good heart. He's a good guy. Machiny90. Machiny, let's hear a little bit about your channel and what you're working on, and we will move forward from there, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Name's Machiny90. I'm very happy to be here by the great CultureCasino. Thank you for inviting me. You can find me on YouTube, where I do weekly time lapses and art streams. Speaking of which, starting at 12:30 my time will be the premiere of Machiny Live Season 2. We have a great panel there, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you, Machiny. I really appreciate you joining us. I don't know about great, but that felt good anyway. Thanks for coming on today. And immediately below Machiny90 is my friend, my fellow brother in the Hairdo Menace, and one of the funnest guys to game with that I've done in a long time. Our friend Ord's Board from the boardroom. I see. Hello and good day to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm only here because somebody said there was going to be free weed.
Oh wow.
So I'm guessing that's not happening, but that's cool. That's cool because I'm good. I got my own. Anyway, guys, Awards, what's up? Thank you, Culture, for having me, man. I've been wanting to come on your channel for a while now. Saw a great opportunity to do it, and I wait till the last second to show up, but I'm here. So,
oh man,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you would have been forgiven if you had other things going on. It's what I tell everybody. You know what? I will promote you being on the panel, and if it takes me a couple weeks to get here, it's cool. But I really am happy you're here, my friend.
I appreciate the Gilk Man reaching out to me to remind me too. So thank you, brother Thomas.
See, Thomas is instrumental in the success of everyone, and I don't care what anybody says about that. I will say this, though. Tonight I'm going to be on, I think, are we going to game tonight? Tell me we're going to game.
I think we're going to game tonight. We're going to definitely try. Fat Steven Seagal sent me over some of the specs to run as the stream. So everything should be good. I even got the computer in pieces right now. Like you guys, like I don't know if you can see this, but I've got like my side panel off and everything. I'm replacing fans. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So we're going to try at least tonight.
All right,
we're going to try. So
well, let's hope we get you where you need to go. But thank you so very much, Orders, for being here today, and I look forward to tonight. So hopefully we can get this, because that is like the highlight to the end of the week for me, and then I have to start being adult on Monday mornings. So anyway, you guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then of course the lovely, our consistent panelist, and the person that keeps us centered is actually properly in the center right now. AFK Bard, our wonderful creator that will read you to sleep at night if you so need it. AFK, thanks for joining us. How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me again. And yeah, I always look forward to reading people to sleep along with myself.
I know. I've been on one of those.
I can't read in bed, AFK. If I read in bed, I get through like a page and a half,
I
and
need
I'm
to fix
out.
my setup because I'm too comfy.
She doesn't like. It's not just a reading. She put like her voice is like so ASMR-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're right, Thomas. She will knock you out. It's hypnotizing. Yes, sir. You're 100% right. The Gilk man.
Gosh, thanks. I like.
You betcha.
Somebody likes it.
Hey, you got people. You know, whether or not this is the other thing I try to tell people. Most of us are doing other stuff while we're watching and listening to everybody else. Like I will have my phone in my pocket when I walk the dog, listening to somebody's stream. You know, because I try to support everybody. So I may not be commenting because the phone's in my pocket, but I'm listening to you. I try to get to all 261 people that I follow on YouTube right now. It's hard, but I try to get to everybody. But anyway, though, we have another incredible creator in their own right, somebody who's actually producing a book, a graphic novel. Our friend, The Mirrosphere Origins. What's up, my friend? How are you doing?
How's it going? Not bad. Just living life, right?
All right.
Living life, getting things done.
That's right. You're in your new studio. I can tell you got a little bit of an echo. I know that'll get countered here in the weeks to come. But man, this is great.
Stuff for the walls.
Yeah. We all do it, man. We all soundproof and move stuff around and change configurations and set up new places. Absolutely. So, but I'm glad you're here today. Anything you want to report on your new book or anything like that?
Still editing.
All right. Editing. Forever and ever, right? Forever.
Feels like it, yeah.
All right. And last but not least, one of the busiest people I know, a guy with just too many channels, at least too many. No, I'm just kidding. He's got 2 channels, I know for sure, because I'm a member and subscriber for both. And I'm not counting Twitch. So, but Mando is Mando.
No, actually, I have a backup one on YouTube too. So I have.
Do you really, dude? Oh man. Okay. Well, the Mando Merc does an awful lot for us and the entire community, and I really appreciate him being here, taking time out of that schedule of putting content together to join us every week on Sundays. Thank you, Mando. What's going on over at your place?
So today I actually have a lot of work that doesn't involve live streaming. So I'm working on a poster because I promised to get out a new poster on my eBay store.
Cool.
So I got my pad and inks now, so I'm finally gonna ink it and scan it. I got my my merch. So I got a merch store on Teespring, and I actually ordered 2 things for myself because one of the items on the Teespring store I designed for myself, essentially.
I did that too.
I got it yesterday, and it's awesome. Came out great. It actually has the logo I'm using right now on it, albeit with a small change, but it's great. So it's a comfortable sweatshirt too. I got both the zip-ups and hoodies and all that because I don't know what people like nowadays. So, but yeah, and also in terms of content, every Tuesday and Thursday night, I shall be doing live streams on YouTube where it's just me and the rest of the Cast in the Shadows gang playing games or talking news or whatever it is, depending on what we feel like at that time.
Awesome. All right, man. Thanks for giving us an update, and I appreciate that. I want to acknowledge everybody in the chat, and then we can get popping on our very first thing, which is a big one that we didn't expect, kind of a brand new thing, kind of a little sad. We'll get through it in just a few moments, but I wanted to say hi to everybody. Hail to the Wookiee supremacy. Hail, my friend. Good to see Jake D here. Keith Howard. Good to see you. Tina is here. Good afternoon, Tina. Thank you for joining us. You are such a great part of this community, and your support is really appreciated. And I know a lot of people tell you that, but believe it. We all see you everywhere, and we all appreciate you, so thank you. Philip A. Demick, hello. Good to see you. Skull, everybody. Absolutely. Diablo Dame is with us. Afternoon, all, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. No one says Sunday night. Well, here it is again. Where's the time going? Yeah, I know. It seems to disappear. And as you get older and older, as I experienced yesterday, time seems to move faster. So Lorena Creole is here.
Talk about the daylight savings time.
No, you lost an extra hour. Exactly. Yeah. Lorena Creole is here. She says, "Hi everyone, lurking while cleaning. Well, you do your stuff, and we will try to entertain you while you clean." I want to remind everybody this is really important. We're going to do this a couple times today. Lorena Creole is really close to the monetization that she needs for hours. Tonight is an amazing live stream show that she hosts called Welcome to Florida. So be sure absolutely to check that one out. Please attend tonight. It's going to be a fun show. We have some great stuff set up for it tonight, or at least Lorena does. I got an inkling of what we're doing, and it makes me excited to be there. You get to hear about incredibly crazy Florida man stories. I mean, and who doesn't like those? They're brilliant. Plus a lot of other fun Florida facts. So. Kitty Bear, someone make me a sandwich. Well, I'm a little on the hungry side too. As soon as we're done with this, I get to have lunch, so I'm pretty pumped up. But good to see you here. The Gilk Man, dude, you're on the stream. But thank you, sir. You're so generous. You are so generous. It's insane. Hail to the incredible panel. Much love to all on panel, and hail chat. Thank you for all you do on panel. Thank you for having me, Culture. You can, Thomas, I will be reaching out to you regularly, my friend. I'm going to have to figure out what your work schedule is, because now that you're working a lot, dude, I know what that's like. I got real life too. You got to work, you got to earn that moolah so that you can do this fun stuff here on YouTube. But thank you again for the super chat, my friend. And again, you're overly generous to everybody in the community. It's one of the reasons I call you the heart and the soul. So, but moving on, we have. Oh my gosh, you photographers here. Hail and welcome. Good to see you. Diablo Dame went to go get a drink. So yeah, apparently you're getting a sandwich, Kitty Bear. Is this the last ever Bond, as the omens aren't looking good? That could be part of the discussion that we have. We'll see. I really hope not, since it's the only thing that the Saltzman and Broccoli family have left. And it would be more likely the end of MGM, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Judicon, hello, and good Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, whatever to all. Absolutely, Judicon, thanks for being here. We have Kai MFS. Hail, my friend. Good to see you. We've got Latino Slant. It was fun having you on a couple weeks ago. We have got to get you back, Paulie. And I know that you've got a show coming up later today, or maybe you're taking the time off. I don't remember, but go ahead and throw that in the chat. We'll see if we can get you some promotion, my friend. Keck44 is here. Keck, good to see you. Good to see you. Brutal Morningwood, listening as much as I can do over the log splitter. Yep, you got to do those chores. I understand. I do the same thing. I'm out doing the chores with the phone in the pocket, listening to everybody. It's absolutely fun, and absolutely almost a full house. We were getting close. We could have had a full house today. I targeted 9 people. It's hard to get to 10 and keep everything under control, but we have very good panelists here today, so I think we won't overtalk each other very much. Karen Prime, love that you're here again. Thank you so very much. Yeah, R.I.P. Alex Trebek. And that's actually going to be the first story, guys. We will talk about that momentarily. Bone, hello, people. Hello to you, Bone. Good to see you. Howdy, howdy.
Yo, what up, Bone? What up? Yeah. I love Bone. Just got to say that.
Bone's awesome. Bone always makes awesome. Bone always makes the panel feel like it's complete. You know what I mean? And man, I feel like I'm missing people. I want to say hello to M. Dastardly. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, M. Dastardly.
And Dastardly is here. Jake D threw out a super sticker. Thanks, Jake D. I appreciate that, my friend. It's a Doomacorn. Makani, since you're on the panel, if you wouldn't mind.
All right.
Thank you very much. I think you probably get to do it again, but I'm very excited that you guys are all here. Let's see. We've got a few other folks that popped in. CC. Wow. I wish that were true. I don't think so. Maybe. Although, I don't know. There's too much skin. You don't want to put that much skin on camera when you get to be my age. So, but it is what it is. All right, Parrothead is here. He says CultureCasino. Absolutely, you guys. You betcha. That nickname's never going anywhere, is it? All right. Runner is here. Hey, Runner, how's it going, my friend? And the Grand Moff Inquisitor. Good to see you. And Hail, thank you for being here today. We're almost done, guys. Gosh, there's so very many of you, and I could not be more happy. Yep, good day, and R.I.P. Alex Trebek at age 80. And yes, we will get to that news momentarily. It's terribly sad. Is Arcade? Oh,
Yeah, I saw Ryan.
yeah. Ryan is in the chat. Ryan sent us a super sticker. Thank you so much, very much, my friend. I appreciate you in each and every way. And of course, Ryan sent a Duma Corn super sticker, which means I get to say Makini, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you again, Makini, and thank you very much, Ryan Cannell. You guys are so great. I appreciate all the support, and I can't say that each and every time I get anything from anybody, I'm overwhelmed. You guys really do make me have an emotional reaction, because all I'm trying to do is entertain and get us through each and every day that we can, in about as positive a way as we can, with the news of the day in pop culture and entertainment. Richard, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Curtis is here. What's on there, Curtis? Everybody cooks on Sunday. The boss cooks on Sunday. Sometimes I get to help the boss cook on Sunday. It's a tradition. Get all the meals ready for the week. Make sure they're all healthy and substantive, and it keeps us from bogging down at the end of the day when we have other things to do, like watch all the awesome stuff going on YouTube. So that's awesome, guys. I really appreciate it. Tina, thank you so very much for the birthday wishes, and this is overly generous, and I appreciate it. The $20 super chat that's overwhelming, guys. Thank you. You don't understand, but thank you. I truly appreciate it, Tina. You guys are so overly generous. You have no idea. Anyway, thank you. Terry Rose is joining us today. Genactic, I appreciate that so very much. Who knew? Hail, who knew? Who knew? Asked a question the other day about subscriptions, and while I have subscriptions available, I have yet to set up the tiers. So I will go about doing that. If people want to subscribe, they're more than welcome. I want to be able to offer you additional content like many of the other creators, but I don't want to put things behind a paywall that are unreasonable. So what will likely happen is I'll likely have a stream, and as probably even the first tier, at the first tier, where people that are out there in the community that just want to come on and shoot the breeze, just like Gary does and many other creators do. It'll be just a private stream for us. And then I'll do one for maybe the second tier where we do it every month, just like Ryan does. Ryan is an example that I like to follow in many ways, not quite with the colorful language that he uses from time to time, but I do use him as an example for how to do an effective job at running a channel and to take care of his audience. So absolutely, and welcome and hail to you, who knew. Those things will be on the way, hopefully sometime this week. I actually got the Teespring thing working, which is amazing. Man, we are talking an awful lot about me, and we are 20 minutes into the stream. I will finish up saying hi to everybody, and we will get going. Miss Martin Muses is here. Hail and welcome. She, of course, sends a super sticker. It is always going to be a rose. Thank you so very much. And again, I always say amazing things about Miss Martin Muses. She is going to be on the stream for next week, I believe, and possibly be on another stream that I'm concocting in the future with Stieg and I. So she doesn't know this, but we may have come up with something else fun to do. So looks like for next week, our guest panelist will be Kai MFS. I know he's still here. We will have Miss Martin Muses, which will be amazing. And Rowan Ginger Raven will be on with us as well. So that's a member of the community a lot of you are not familiar with. So I'm going to try to bring on people to introduce them to all of you, because they are all very smart, wonderful, and wise people, as pretty much all of you are. I am not.
Culture. Can I say one thing?
Yeah, I don't know what that's in reference to, so I need to be enlightened.
Subscribe to Stick Kenobi.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, absolutely. Please subscribe to Steve Kenobi. He made an extra video just for me, knowing full well he would get to 500. So he's already fulfilled his 500 obligation. So let's at least get him there, guys. So, yeah. And you know what, Curtis? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just 2 seconds. I'm off. It's awful. I'm brokenhearted. I am. But for a lot of reasons, and we'll talk about those in a minute. Good morning, Aluvria and Imakara. Good to see you. We'll talk about that in a second, Bone. Parrothead, we already said. Opta Racer is here. Hey, Opta Racer. Good to see you again, friend. Memes of Destruction. What's going on? And I think I've got everybody. Oh, my goodness. The Atlantean. Look at that. Hello, my friend. The Atlantean says, hail. Is hibernation an option during this psychoticness? LOL. Well, hopefully during this stream you will avoid all psychoticness, my friend. And thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. But on this stream, absolutely, we are going to avoid everything. Bacon burns, absolutely, yeah. Bacon burns. The next time I'm on Shenanigans, I've turned them up to level 10. So I think that'll be an interesting thing that happens. Yep, Stieg needs 10 more to 500. Thank you, Runner. I appreciate that. Soul Assassin, thanks for popping in. And we're done. We're going to get started on everything. If I missed anything from anybody, somebody please direct my attention to it. Until then, we're off and running. So right now, on the screen, you're going to see the thing we were referring to. Alex Trebek has passed away. He is an amazing Canadian citizen. He did an awful lot here in the United States. I believe he possessed dual citizenship. A brilliant man with an excellent memory and an intellect to match. He hosted probably one of the most popular shows for a number of years, going over many, many decades. And I found out this news this morning, right after it broke. This is from TMZ, and we will burn through this article quickly as we go. The revered and beloved Jeopardy host since 1984, that's a lot of decades, folks, whose calm but witty presence was must-see television for millions of Americans, has died. And obviously, he had pancreatic cancer, which we were told about. He was in stage 4 when he announced the news back in March of 2019. In May of 2019, he had announced that his tumors had shrunk. But as everybody knows, with stuff like this, remission is usually short-lived. And his wife had discussed at length in several interviews that she knew that there was something wrong early on, and it took him too long to get checked out. He only got checked out because he fell and had some blood clots in his head, and that's when it was discovered. But this is a person who won 6 daytime Emmy Awards, and set the Guinness Book of World Records in June of 2014 as the most episodes of a game show hosted. So he went on to do, obviously, almost 5 more years of that. That's a lot of episodes of a game show. So it's a terrible, terrible loss for anybody who'd been able to consume his products forever. He was a decent person, a good person, is described as both, and he has passed at age 80, so we lost him. We'll start with the Gilk Man. Were you a fan of the game show? Did you want to say anything about Mr. Trebek and his passing?
Yes, sir. Trebek is as iconic as they come for celebrities. I think he was in an episode of Arthur way back when.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he made cameos in other TV shows. His heart, even knowing when he had pancreatic cancer, he still did Jeopardy. That having whatever stage of cancer, no matter if it's stage 1 or stage 2 or 3 or 4, that will ruin any person. And the fact that he still persevered and did Jeopardy even when he had stage 4 and even when he was starting to lose weight, or the elements that befalls you when you go into cancer and you get chemo, that tells you the strength of his character and the strength of the person. He is iconic. I was actually just watching a clip. I watched Mojo video about the top 10 moments when he roasted some of the contestants, and he is an incredible person. He will be missed by everyone.
I think so, and I think I'm in the same mind as Juan Wong. F 2020. Yeah, this has been a bad year. We've lost some institutions, like OptoRacer says. Oh no, Alex Trebek is an institution. So this is a loss for a lot of people. It was great to be able to pop on for some escape and some trivia. You got an opportunity to to feel superior to some of these intellects that were on the show, or to feel silly that you didn't know some knowledge that you should have. It's a loss, and I think it affects everyone. And Makini, I know that you are young folk, and obviously this show actually predates your birth, or at least his appearance on it. Do you have any thoughts on Alex Trebek?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with Gilkman, because I heard the news from Gilkman early this morning. It is definitely sad to see him losing his fight with pancreatic cancer. But at the same time, considering the amount of success and the amount of just what he's achieved in his lifetime, and I remember catching Jeopardy many times, growing up in the 90s and such. So I was never good at. I'm not smart, so I was never good at Jeopardy. But it was always. But it was a product of part of my life in a way. I guess in a way, it's like one of those. It's like just like one of those people who've been around for most of your life, and you always hear about. They don't hear that much about. But yeah, just rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to just my condolences to him and his family and such. And he's lived, and he made it. Not only did he made it to 80, but the fact that he's had so much success, and he had this game show running for decades.
Yeah, he did, and yeah, you're right. He really did, and I wanted to highlight a couple of comments real quick before we have Ords' reaction. And it's okay if you don't have one. I mean, you either consumed the product or you didn't, and their game shows are not for everybody. But executive producer Sol Leibowitz brings to our attention that Alex Trebek loved the parodies of Jeopardy, and even called Eugene Levy himself on SCTV. By the way, Eugene Levy, what a genius. I mean, think about how long that dude's been in entertainment. But anyway, to say his only complaint was they didn't use his real name, but the fake name Alex Trebek. They probably didn't want to get sued, but yeah, I mean, he had a great sense of humor. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's pointed out. I think it's pointed out by someone here on the panel that he made guest appearances. Thank you, Cavite Noche. Thank you there in the chat. He had a great sense of humor and made an appearance on Saturday Night Live during a Jeopardy sketch of all places. So of course, he is. I don't know. He's just I think the game show itself was an institution because of this man. Obviously with the Guinness Book of World Records, etc. Or do you have an opinion, or did you have any contact with the show? How do you feel?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The show was one of those things that, like, when there wasn't anything on TV, there was always that. Yeah. That's one thing I love about game shows. They're kind of those things where you can kind of bop in and out of, and they're a show that you don't really need to be following to go and enjoy, like, randomly. That's there's nothing to watch on TV. Oh, well, okay, Alex Trebek here, and you always find yourself trying to answer the questions as well, and it was just unique in the sense of how they answered the questions, and that was kind of a running gag back in the day. It was just always there. I mean, Alex Trebek was great. I always thought he was a really down to earth person. I think of all the game show hosts that I know, he was probably the most well mannered of them out there. Maybe the guy that does Wheel of Fortune, he's pretty. I guess he's pretty okay. But no, it was just one of those things you could always count on it being there. So you have Sean Connery, who's recently died, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that next.
yeah. Well, then you have Alex Trebek. I always think, when I think of Alex Trebek and Jeopardy, I always go back to that skit where it's Sean Connery. I forget who he's played by, and then there's the Alex Trebek played by Will Ferrell, and they're going back and forth. And unfortunately, I'm glad that exists because they're so close with their deaths. It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like we're seeing a lot of this happen at once. And 2020 sucks, man. Like, can we, I don't know if 2021 is going to be any better, but can we please stop losing these icons who's at least give us a little more time with these people?
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating when we lose these icons. You're 100% right, and I just want to point out a couple of things to the chat. Qui-Gon Gimli says, "R.I.P. Alex Trebek. I wonder who will take over hosting the show." Well, in the back room when we were talking about this before we went live, there were a couple of candidates that they had been looking at because Alex Trebek had been considering retirement, obviously in light of his diagnosis. He was going to go, he was going to try to get into the anniversary of 2021 for his 2-year survival before he retired. So they've already been vetting people. So we'll see what happens. The question is, will they be the same level of icon as Alex Trebek? And here's another thing I'd like to point out. Kai MFS, who says probably one of the best things to come out of 2020 is his book, which I'm holding in my hand, Space Crime Domino. And he's not wrong. This is a great book. It's huge. This is a creator in our midst, guys. It's available on Amazon, and I will always promote Kai because he is a true creator. He says he has to pay respect to him today on his game show. If you don't know, Kai hosts a game show on his channel that's essentially Jeopardy, only with lots of penalties. That I was fortunate enough to be on this show with my good friend Ords Board, who I absolutely made sure won the game because
I was.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
I was on his last week's game, and I think probably the biggest comeback ever in trivia battle history.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah, I have to say it's a lot of fun to be on Kai's show. It's a lot of fun. It's after this one. Kai is an amazing host, and it is kind of Jeopardy-like, but with like fireballs and stuff.
Hey, yeah, and that actually kind of makes me think, to make this point real quick about it, is that especially you see in the community and bigger YouTubers and stuff who get memed a lot, get made fun of. Maybe people do funny skits about them. That just goes to show you how we say when that's happening, you're doing something right. And these guys were so iconic that people would portray these characters. Just game show hosts. We're talking about just game show hosts. How many game show hosts has there been? I mean, when you think of like game shows now, do you really? No, you don't really think. I mean, honestly, maybe there is some good game shows out there. I don't know, but game shows to me are kind of a thing of the past. I think it to a certain extent. But my point being is as just game show hosts, no acting, none of that stuff. They've made such an impact on society and the culture that people are memeing them. People are, for years throughout their entire career. And it just goes to show you the impact that just these, when I say just game show hosts, I'm trying to make a point here. They were great people, but they were just game show hosts. So that just goes to show you the cultural significance of these game show hosts who've been around for a long time.
Yeah, right. No, and it's true. And you know what, Soul Assassin, I'm with you, man. Stay away from Sajak and White. Yes, please. Please. Gah. This year's been rough. AFK Bard, I'm not sure. Did you consume any of these shows? I know you're a brilliant human. I'm sure you're good at trivia.
Oh, God, no. I am horrible at it.
Okay, wow. I was so wrong. Excellent.
No, I know, like, really useless facts. Like, not even the things that are, like, useful when you, like, do trivia night with your friends. Like, I'll just be standing somewhere, and I'll be like, oh, did you know the piece of gum over there weighs this much? Like, it's just ridiculous. But, not going on a tangent there. My grandma used to love watching these shows, so I would watch them constantly with her when I went to visit her. And she loved Trebek. She thought he was super fly. So, I like to think that maybe they can like meet up, and say, hey.
Yeah.
So.
I think a lot of people have those desires for that kind of an afterlife experience, right? Meet up with the icons that you felt good with. I get that. What a loss. Mirrorsphere, you watch any of this stuff?
Oh, I watch Jeopardy and stuff like that. I like watch when I go to like my grandparents' house.
Yeah, just like AFK.
I was just never. I'm not very. If you ever watch my videos, I am terrible at remembering names. Pretty bad. Because I'll be sitting there thinking, and I'm like, I can't remember their name, or I'll be thinking of something, and my brain will just shut off, and I'll just lose my entire train of thought for a minute. I'll be like, shit. So me and Jeopardy be horrifying.
Pretty awesome.
And I'd be like, I can't remember.
I love that. There are people that get on those shows, and they're brilliant, and they know all this stuff, and then they hit that button, it goes doo doo doo, and then they're like, "Oh man,"
Brain just freezes, and it's like,
and they're like,
It's
I
right
forgot.
at the tip of your tongue. It's like right there, but you just can't grab a hold of it.
Yeah. But what a great, again, it's a great memory because you associate that show with your grandparents, just like AFK, and I did too. I mean, all of my elderly folks watched that program. So it's weird. There's so much association that goes on with these icons, and we'll get to that a lot more when we talk about Connery, because I'm so glad that Thomas is here today. Mando Merc, you're the last but not least, my friend. Where do you think you're at with the loss of Mr. Trebek?
So I've never watched. Oh, I watched it a few times, like maybe, like for instance, one time I can remember I was in the hospital and it was on the TV there and stuff like that. But really, I never really watched game shows. I never really watched Jeopardy, so I really don't have anything to say other than those SNL skits were really funny. But
yeah,
that's
well. That's fine, and I honestly, not everybody has to have watched or seen everything, and sometimes game shows aren't people's bag. So, that's cool. I appreciate that, and I do want to talk about this. Mutant Bandhammer says something that we're going to get into right now. Connery, the best Bond that I've ever seen. Yeah. I like how he spells scene, as in scene bean, Sean Bean, or Sean, the best Sean I've ever seen.
Hey, Culture. I want to say one thing though before we move on.
Sure.
As a person who's watched my mom went through cancer and then passed away from it. I want to say shout out to his family for watching him struggle through that. It's not an easy thing to watch. Yeah. It's something that will always, just sucks. And
I'm glad. Look, cancer's the beast you cannot that just some people cannot escape, and believe me, it runs rampant in my family, and we're always feeling like there's somebody who's going to come around the corner and going to say, oh yeah, I've got X. So it's hard. It really is. Biggles Mets dropped a $5 super chat and says, "I'm not late this time, right?" No, Biggles, you are here at the beginning of this stream. This one will go long, guys. I think we might get to 2 hours. Normally, I only do 90. So with Latino Slant confirming there is no show today over there, I am only going to push you towards the game show for Kai after this one ends, and then again, this afternoon, whatever it is for you guys, over to the Lorena's Florida Man stream tonight. So, and of course, 90
minutes, not 90 hours.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 90 minutes. Did I say 90 hours?
Well,
wow.
You said I usually do 90, like not.
Oh yeah, I usually do 90 minutes
or hours after that. So probably 90 hours usually.
Yeah. Culture, don't forget Mock B Live as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, no. I will promote all of you guys too, but I'm trying to remember these things. I'm trying to it's hard. You get to, I write stuff down now. All right, especially on the stream. I don't know what happens, but yeah. Oh man, I know. Someone wrapped Betty White up in bubble wrap.
Keep Betty alive until the end of the year.
Oh man. Yep. Alan Ludden. Great. Yep, absolutely. Hey, Rev Kev, thanks for popping in. Hello. Hey, everybody. Keeping well. We are. I hope everybody else out there is too. Don't get sick. Wookie says a provocative thing. By the way, that's what Wookie does about Betty. He says that about Betty White. Everybody knows that he's kidding. Hello, Wookie. No, she deserves every second she has left. So, Useless facts are trivial. Hence, it is trivia. Is that the etymology of the word? I think it is. Absolutely, that's correct. Yeah. No, you guys are so funny. I love it. You guys are great. I love this stuff. Yeah, cancer sucks. Oh, it's terrible. All right. So you know what? Yeah. Casino Royale and Skyfall is okay. Yeah, as the top of my. Well, Curtis, that's everybody's. That's where I held the live stream I did yesterday, was to have that very conversation. The best Bond movies, and kind of you took away from it that still. For a lot of people, Sean Connery is the best Bond, and in order to do this properly, I have to have Thomas speak first, because Thomas is probably one of the biggest fans, aside from my grandfather, that I've ever known. Thomas, take it away.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What am I talking?
Sean Connery. Talk about Sean Connery and the Bond and the best Bond and all and everything and the like, because we're going to get deeper into the next film, and this is going to segue into that.
Yes, sir. So for me, Bond has always been the I think for me personally, I think for probably a lot of other people, that he's been the type of person that everyone wishes they could be. You know, a Suvoi, sexy, looking British person with a, you know, holding a Walter PPK with style. My first introduction to Bond was not, you know, the Pierce Brosnan films, like a lot of people introductions were. I was in high school, and my friend, you know, he came over, and this was like 2007 or so, and he came over to my house for a sleepover, and he brought over "You Only Live Twice," which is my favorite, one of my favorite Connery films, Bond films, apart from Thunderball, Goldfinger, and From Russia with Love. And the title of the theme song sticks true. You Only Live Twice. Just an incredible film, especially if you're into Japanese culture or any culture in general. The way they depict Japanese culture. Um, the funny thing is that they weren't originally going to consider Connery for Bond. It was originally going to be, I think, David Niven or somebody else. But then he did a screen test with Albert. He did a screen test, and um, they liked him. He got to meet Ian Fleming, because Ian Fleming passed away around 1964, if memory serves correctly. And the fact that he passed away on Halloween, or the morning of Halloween, is a little. It's very sad. But I saw this post on Facebook when I was eating some delicious Five Guys French fries and a burger. That now that he is that he can now have a vodka martini with Alex Trebek, and the late great Roger Moore as well, because Roger passed away in 2017 because of cancer, I think, or a disease. It wasn't natural age, but and then you know, just seeing the tributes from people that spoke about him, from Harrison Ford to you know, to Andy Garcia, to Kevin Costner, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg. In fact, 2018, no, 2007 or 2008, 2007, Sean Connery accepted an AFI Life Achievement Award. And you saw people like George Lucas speaking about what ways to, you know, to explain his absence, because they wanted him back for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but he had retired after the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and they did like a real like a highlight of what will we what would we do, how will we explain Connery's absence. And so they used examples of him tripping on soap, him getting run over by camels or something like that, and just other funny instances. You had James Earl Jones speak about the voice of Sean Connery, because he has a beautiful voice to him. There was but then you find out that, after, all the tributes from everyone, they that he was battling with dementia. And as someone whose grandparents, so my grandparents are starting to develop signs of, or my grandfather is starting to develop signs of dementia, and it's heartbreaking not knowing, not seeing, not when your family member is having trouble remembering who you are, and whatnot. I was actually, and I said this on Twitter, there was only a few of the big YouTubers out there that cover the Connery news, in particular because there were so many people coming and attacking him that he was dead because maybe in the 1970s, 1980s, he did an interview with Barbara Walters about where he had talked about how every now and then it's okay to slap women. People were coming out of the woodworks to attack him. As nobody apart from the Quartering, Yellow Flash, that Umbrella guy, Robert Meyer Burnett, and maybe 2 or 3 others. They were the only people that were to cover it. The scene that resonates to me most, and it's not a James Bond film, although James Bond is an incredible franchise, is it's in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which I still think they should have ended it at the end of Last Crusade because that was a perfect moment to do it. But that's something saved for another streamer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's right after he sees the Grail Knight, and he's like, Ilsa never really believed in the Grail. She thought she found the prize, and then he's like, and he's like, what did you believe in? Or Indy says something to his dad, and he's like, what did you believe in, Dad? And he's like, me. Illumination. And in his eyes, you see that same that Connery look that was in Dr. No and the other films of his, and the fact that he put on he had an incredible resume befitting that of any big name Hollywood actor. His death touched me deeply because he's someone that I looked up to, the actor and the character, because of the fact that he wanted to fight for because he's originally from Scotland and he wanted to fight for Scotland's independence.
Yep.
And I think, and he didn't get involved into. He was somebody I think people missed him when he was not doing his films, but they miss him more when he's gone. But now that he's gone, hopefully he can share a drink with Roger and Trebek and all the other Bond alumni and whatnot.
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people share that sentiment, and it's one of the reasons I'm glad you're on today, because I wanted you to talk very eloquently about Connery and his loss. And for a lot of people, he was definitively Bond, especially me. It looks like we have 2 AFKs right now. All right. Well, I'm sure one of you. No, you're fine. One of you will disappear, and it's perfectly fine. But look, Thomas, thank you very much. That's the whole reason that you had to talk about Connery today. No matter when I had you on, you were going to get to talk about Connery because I know you really connect with him, and and he was heartbroken about the no independence for Scotland. He really was. So moving on from him, we can say that Bond is an iconic character that all of us have, felt in some way, whether it's Sean Connery's Bond or Daniel Craig's Bond or George Lazenby's Bond or Roger Moore's Bond, even Pierce Brosnan's Bond. Some people even like Timothy Dalton. But beyond that, it's an iconic character, and very few people wear the 007 moniker. That's just one of those things. I mean, both Moore and Connery did 7 films each, if you count the illegitimate film made outside of Eon Productions, Never Say Never Again, which I do. But and a lot of people have the sentiment about, like I said, Sean Connery being, the one you could watch, like he's saying here, Wookie's saying, I could watch Dr. No on a loop. Absolutely, and a lot of us could. It's just a great film. But the new Bonds have been a little different, and because they're trying to keep up with the times. So we're about to venture into an area of danger, because we're not going to talk about politics on this stream. We're going to talk about an article that came up almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, about James Bond, or at least 007, being female. And it was a distinction that I think was important at the time because of how the film was going to be presented. Lashana Lynch did an amazing... This is a very well-written article by Harper's Bazaar. Believe it or not, I'm saying positive things about them in this article, where they were essentially bringing out a different style of presentation for James Bond, which essentially, by bringing in Phoebe Waller-Bridge, they essentially got rid of a longtime director in Danny Boyle for these films. But the film was originally going to be released on April 8th, 2020. It's now been pushed to April, I don't know, 10th or something like that. We'll see in the next article of 2021. So it'll be a full year and maybe two by the time this film releases from the time this article was, or it'd be fully 2 years. So what's important about this article, guys, to me, is that she was, in her own words, the writer of the new Bond, was trying to draw a distinction, and the distinction is important. 007 is a number, a designation. James Bond is a person that has been assigned that designation, and hence the reason that it's important here. We know for a fact, based on leaks, script reveals, and a new article in Harper's Bazaar that came out a couple of days ago, that an iconic scene that we're used to seeing is Bond entering, or excuse me, 007 entering M's office to get an assignment. And that James Bond himself has retired and shed the 007 designation. That's where this all comes down. So the person that's going to walk in the room to see M is going to be Lashana Lynch's character. Now, again, this isn't a problem in and of itself, because to me, it's a designation. We haven't seen the film yet. But there's something important from Phoebe Waller-Bridge's own mouth, which blows my mind, because she's somebody who wears her politics on her sleeve, because a lot of people would consider her politically active. But reading from what she says herself about the character is interesting. And before that, I'm going to read about something that Barbara Broccoli has said about things. She says, as for the current trend of retooling male roles to feature females, remembering the outcry over the first female Doctor Who, that wasn't just why there was an outcry, Broccoli was firm. We don't have to turn male characters into women. Let's just create more female characters and make the story fit those female characters, which makes a lot of sense. Writer Waller-Bridge addressed the problematic way in which Bond has seemingly treated women and suggested that his behavior didn't need to change in the new movie. Did you catch that distinction? She told Deadline in May 2019 that there's been a lot of talk about whether or not the Bond franchise is relevant now because of who he is and the way he treats women. She continued, I think that's bollocks. I think he's absolutely relevant now. It has just got to grow. It has just got to evolve. And the important thing is that the film treats the women properly. He doesn't have to. Now, there it is. I put in italics for a reason. He doesn't have to treat the women properly, right? He needs to be true to his character. And those were her quotes. So I find that fascinating. Although some might argue that it's time for Bond to start treating all human beings with the respect they deserve. It's interesting that the author chose to add that line themselves. But that's not what Phoebe Waller-Bridge said. So, regardless, that's where we were. Does anybody have any issue with what I said, looking at this cerebrally, looking at these are the words that were said?
I want to say something real quick, because
Yeah.
I like that you took the time to kind of break down what the interviewed person was saying versus like what the author was kind of injecting into it, because a lot of times articles are just kind of taken on face value, where, you know, like the writer is just like adding things that, you know, they think were implied by the statement. And like actually like hearing that, you know, I wish more people could understand the differences of like of representation and like needing to take things out. Because like this idea of, you know, like quote unquote like toxic masculinity, right? Like we need to take it out. Like we can't have a character like this. And they forget that emphasis on character. Like there are people in the world that act the certain way, or, you know, are this certain way. And it's ridiculous to think that every single human being represented on the screen needs to be a perfect representation of who, you know, we want people to be. You know, like they're characters for a reason.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, there's at least recognition of that is really important for a writer. So it's like that has hope. And but, you know, with all this other stuff, like I mean, like I kind of makes me want to think that it's like what was it, the advertising that like Birds of Prey was going to be woke, but then it wasn't, kind of situation, where I feel like they're trying to sell it for that audience, but at the same time, the writer is kind of giving us a look saying like she's actually trying to treat James Bond with more respect, I guess. I don't know. I mean, as it is, I'm okay with the number thing. You know, if they were saying they're just, you know, changing it so it's like Jamie Bond or something like that, that'd be an issue. But I mean, like at the end of it all, I don't even think it's the problem that they're, you know, having someone replace the 007 role. It's the fact that, I don't know if this is controversial because I'm not a James Bond fan, so I don't kind of roll through the crowds, but the fact that they started having him age was kind of the problem in my eyes. Mm-hmm. And they're basically killing him in a sense of just like, it's not just like taking the relevance out of him. They just are destroying his character, because at the heart, you think of him in his prime. You don't want to see James Bond retiring, period, you know? And so it coupled with this, it's a nasty little mess, I think. Sorry for rambling.
No, it's perfect. And I, like you said, we you know, a comment was made in the chat about that this article is old enough to you know, to have dust on it, right? And it is. I mean, this article is pretty old, but I needed people to understand where all of this consternation came from initially, and you were being very eloquent about it, AFK. And because I need to put it in context with what we were presented with a couple of days ago, because I think what happened was a change in tactics, like you're describing, where we're seeing, if you look at the article, a situation where Lashana Lynch says she's received attacks and abuse for making history as first black female 007. See, and I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this when these articles come out in this way. And the reason, oh, and hi, Apollo Patriot, I didn't see you, sir. The reason that these things bother me is because they're done without any receipts. There is no evidence to support any of the things that's said in these, and nobody asks for them, which to me is not good reporting journalism of any sort. But that's me. There seems to have been a change in the way that we accept information. I choose to accept information in a different way. And the reason that this article came out that I just ruined right there is because this is the newest Harper's Bazaar article about Lashana Lynch taking over the role of 007, not James Bond. So we'll scroll through this and try to get to the crux of this, and then we're going to have a discussion, because I really want everybody to put on their brain pan so we can talk about this. This article is from November 3rd, so 5 days ago. There's a lot of yabba dabba dabba dabba. This is all about blah blah blah. The cultural differences, yada yada, and breaks down the things, including the scene that we knew that had been leaked previously. We get into the article itself, and she talks about reservations of joining another franchise because she didn't want to get lost behind the man. Well, in the last franchise she was in, she was lost behind the woman. So she's saying that in Captain Marvel she's the man. I don't know. But based on what she says in the article, Barbara Broccoli and director Kerry Joji Fukunaga, she understood that their intentions ran alongside hers. That Barbara did not want to put her behind a James Bond, the character, just behind the moniker of a 007 agent. So, it talks about where Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to infuse the script with fresh female perspective. Well, they're writing a female character as a partial lead, so that makes some sense. And she personally is telling them, or this again, she doesn't say this in her own words, just that she is setting out to portray the truth of being a black woman, of someone she might know. And then she talks about the character itself and how it related to her and these words, and that it needs to be 100% authentic. And again, all of that's fine, but none of it's in quotes. So to what extent she used any of that vocabulary, we don't know. As we get further into the article, this is the part I wanted to read. There is, however, clearly still progress to be made when it comes to cultural integration here in Britain. When on Sunday afternoon in April of last year, the news leaked that a black would be inheriting the 007 mantle, Lynch immediately experienced an onslaught of outrage. For a week, she deleted her social media apps, meditated, and saw no one but family while comforting herself with the knowledge that the aggressive comments were ultimately not personal. Okay, we have no frame of reference. This is why these articles make me crazy. It is a discussion. There's a discussion to be had here. If we're willing to have it without interjecting politics into it, is it acceptable to present this kind of information with not also providing corroborating evidence? Because we, as YouTubers, independent folks that just try to present information and perspectives, get confronted with the concept of not providing receipts or data to support the things that we say. So a lot of us have now turned to providing said information, even though it may compromise the folks that are providing it. We have to be very careful about that. We have to make sure we don't compromise the way that we get our information, or if when possible, use other sources that are equally acceptable as evidence. And so let's have this discussion, guys. Is it okay for this type of, because at this point, this is 100% marketing. Is it okay to start marketing things to people this way? Because AFK Bard already pointed out, we've already seen this playbook. It doesn't work. It negatively impacts everything that they try to present it with these kinds of storylines that are a narrative crafted around a project that is supposedly out there to make film or to make money. The films are supposedly produced to make money. So anybody speak up. We'll let you start. Whoever wants to go.
I guess I'll go.
Go ahead.
Everybody else is muted. What do I think? I think this is just going to become another Ghostbusters 2016. I have no problem as long as they don't cuck, James Bond. And for too long, since, not getting into politics, but since like 2015, we have seen men become lesser. They put down the men, upgrade the women, but unbelievably upgrade the women, where they're kick-ass, no problems, no issues, perfect in every way. But the men are, especially ones that we love, especially from franchises we love, all the men are failures later on, losers, blah, 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 from Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, freaking everything is, let's bring down the men to promote to women. And as long as they don't do that, I don't think I like that she's going to take on the 007. I think they should have retired the 007 moniker and go like 008 or whatever's next. Maybe say that, each spy has their own designation, and when they retire, that number is retired. So they could say, hey, 007 retired, now we have 008, the next whoever, and have him teach her the role before he retires. Like, literally training her in the role. That I'd be fine with. Like, have her like fresh out of whatever school and she's just learning, and she has to go under 007 and learn from him the ins and outs of how to be a good spy without getting caught, and what to say in certain situations, what not to say, and stuff like that.
So Bond for me, I wouldn't say like I'm a huge Bond fan. Not that I don't like it. I think it's great. I love the idea behind it. I love the concept. I love the character. Like Gilkman said earlier, he as a man, he's just one of those characters you want to be. I mean, like he just, this persona he has, he can do no wrong. Now, I'm kind of with you on that. Now, I don't think that we need to retire it. I don't think that this person should even be 007. James Bond is 007. Okay, now I kind of like the idea if we're gonna move on, let's maybe retire the number. But or here's an even better deal. Now I don't know, maybe I think the Bond movies come in threes as well, right? Typically, right? Like, do they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, recently the pattern has been limited numbers of films for the most recent Bonds. Now that wasn't necessarily the case, obviously, with Craig's Bond.
Right.
And it wasn't the case for either Moore or Connery. But you are only given a limited number of time to try to play a believable Bond character. So having to retire the actor from the position has never been a problem. The next person steps in and is James Bond. They try to do their best adaptation of Ian Fleming's creation. But as Thomas will point out to you and many others who know a little bit about of Bond, Ian Fleming changed after he's seeing Sean Connery play James Bond. He changed the way he wrote his novelizations to allow for Bond to be a Scotsman and to adopt some of the way he presented the character.
So then, I guess my point with it is take 2-3 films and develop this character so that when you do pass off this mantle to her, then she's earned it. Then she's put in her time. Then she's earned the respect of the fans. Like you take one movie, make James Bond the focus of that movie. You go into a second movie where then there's the struggle where those two struggle to figure out their relationship, and he's teaching her and she's trying to learn, and you cause chaos with there, and then wrap it up with a third where you have maybe 005, 006, 007, 008 all like teaming up or something like that. I mean, you could develop it into something good. You have to pass the mantle off right now. I don't care. You want to pick up the mantle of 007, that's fine. You have to earn it. You have to put in the work that James Bond did. You have to show me, not just become that good. You have to be that. You have to work at it. You start off being clumsy, not knowing how to do things, messing up, certain investigations, or throwing a wrench in the wheels. Earn your place as 007, and then maybe the fans will accept you. And I don't really think it's an issue, like maybe right now using the political aspect of it to sell the movie, but I don't care if there's a female 007. She just got to earn it, man. Just like James Bond did. You got to earn it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Are we going to see the process? Like, so what they did to introduce Daniel Craig was they introduced his kills to become a 00. So, but that's obviously not what the intro scene is going to be in No Time to Die. But I would be interested. This would be a great discussion on Thomas's channel if he wanted to host a panel where we discussed who would be the next coming of James Bond, the character James Bond, because there's been rumors out there about Tom Hardy and several others. Am I right, Thomas?
Yes. May I
Please go. Yeah.
So how do we all know that this is how do we all, because we've seen time and time again where news outlets, they will not necessarily tell the truth.
Well,
100%.
Sure. Yeah.
And so how do we know that this is actually happening? Where is substantial proof?
Which part?
Because
which
about the female James Bond.
The 00? It's been confirmed widely.
There could be, because we've seen things be confirmed and it not necessarily be true.
Sure. No, I believe you, Thomas. Here's the thing.
I think there is a good possibility, but I also do think it wouldn't surprise me if, you know,
You drop it.
what was that?
So it wouldn't surprise me if they just dropped this whole.
They can't.
It
Well, I know
wouldn't,
they're trying to sell it.
it
And they
wouldn't,
can't sell it. So
It-
I would be surprised if they're just like,
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
go ahead, Thomas. I'll stop interrupting.
it's okay. It was my fault too. It wouldn't surprise me if, you know, they had someone like Henry Cavill or because Tom Hardy was a name that was rumored as being definitive. Or it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, a Tom Hardy or even an Idris Elba. I'm okay with them casting Idris Elba. I'm okay with that because to me, he is as sauvoir and sophisticated as you can get. Imagine him in a tux, and plus he's British. Tom Hardy's British. Henry Cavill's British. I mean, originally, before Daniel Craig was cast, there was, you know, there was rumors floating around that Orlando Bloom from Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah, I heard that too.
you know, being Bond, which I think would have been kind of cool because he was. Because around when that came out, when Casino Royale came out, he was in his early 30s, and Connery was in his early 30s, maybe late 20s when he played Bond in Dr. No, 1962. And to me, I'm not going to go off of anything. I'm not going to go off of anything. You know, until the movie comes out, I will be going to see it. Not opening night, depending upon my schedule. I will go to see it because one of the things that appealed to me is I will go to see anything Ralph Fiennes is in, and I liked the transition of him as M. I do enjoy Naomi Harris as Moneypenny. And I do enjoy Ben Whishaw as Q, and I could be blind, but in the trailers they have been showing the Aston Martin DB5 in the trailers, and that's been around since the Connery years, and it was cameoed in the Brosnan films, and I'm gonna go see it. I'm excited for it to see where they actually go to see if this is actually true. And if it is true, I will be one of the first ones to say, you know what? Bond to me is dead or not dead.
Right.
I will be going to see it because I've been seeing, I've seen all the Bond films multiple times except for Spectre and Quantum of Solace, which to me were garbage. But yeah,
I think what's nice is that, kind of to add on to that, Gilkman, is that the thing with it is no matter what, whether this is good or bad, we still have the previous movies.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've been kind of dominating the conversation. So AFK, Machini, Cast, I always do that. Mando, Merc, do you guys have anything?
Yeah. I'll go ahead and say my next piece because I gotta take off afterwards. So I'll just save my seconds. Yeah. So as somebody who hasn't seen any of the Bond films but knows the character,
sure,
and you gotta stay. What we're seeing now in this culture and everything is that we're losing the characters that became iconic. You're taking the identity out of them. You're taking the heart out of them for this or that reason. One thing that people like Phoebe Waller-Bridge and a lot of people like people in the article and stuff, they forget that James Bond isn't specifically a male fantasy. It's also a women fantasy because men love him, men want to be him, women want to be with him. And that's something that people forget or people deny. And that's the core aspects of Bond's character is something that you can't get rid of or you can't change too much because it's not Bond anymore.
Yeah.
Because at points it's not going to be Bond. And I get the sense that when we get to No Time to Die, we're going to lose that, essence of who James Bond is as a character and what his films are about, because people enjoy that kind of. The thing is that it's the ongoing thing with escapism and such is that people enjoy that kind of escapism. It's fiction.
Oh, yes,
People enjoy
absolutely.
it regardless of how it's not comparable. You look at it through the lens of how it is reality when it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be fiction. It's supposed to be, you can apply realistic things to it, but it still has to be escapism, and it has to be fiction for people to enjoy. And you're looking at it with this mindset, this lens, that it's not going to work. You're taking the character out of it. We're seeing that, and we saw that in a string of. We saw that with Ghostbusters. We saw that with Terminator. We saw that with Charlie's Angels. A lot of strings of movies that take the essence of what the movie is for a personal agenda. And what I'm not confirmed. I'm not saying anything, but here's how I see it with No Time to Die. I expect that we're going to get another Terminator Dark Fate scenario on our hands.
Yeah, and that's
2016.
That's the line of thinking that Wookiee supremacy has here with this comment. They're not changing Bond to continue the legacy; they're doing it to kill it. But here's the thing: I don't know 100% if that's true. Again, both the Saltzman family and the Broccoli's, this is the only thing that they have. So I don't know that would be in their best self-interest is to kill off the legacy product that they have that has been popular and money-making for their entire lifetimes. I mean, maybe. I don't know. AFK Bard, you were going to say something, and Makini kept going, and then we've got to say goodbye to Makini.
I feel sorry for that. No, I just wanted to completely agree, and I love that putting attention on that too. It's just like the idea that people are trying to argue that James Bond needs to change, and the idea that it is escapism, and like you even talked about the women who want to watch that movie. It's like, I know it's like you look at the way he treats those women, right? But look at 50 Shades of Grey. Women love to fantasize about being treated objectively. James Bond was not just for the guys who wanted to be that guy, who loved it or wanted that, influence in their life. It was also for women who wanted to be treated like that, who wanted to have attention and feel hot and sexual. And when you're like you're not just trimming the character James Bond, they're trimming all of these James Bond ladies down. They're not like, this movie is going to be bland as F because you're literally taking away everything that drew someone there. You don't want to go and see something you'll see outside, you want to fantasize. So I don't know. You got me going with all of that.
That's a good point, man.
It's escapism. It's supposed to be an escape from reality, not let's infect it with reality so that it pretty much more of what we've seen already just by looking out the window or whatever.
Beautiful, and that's so well said, Mando, dude. You freaking nailed it. And I think we've kind of arrived at the point in the conversation where I number one, I want to say goodbye to Makini because he's got to run. Makini, because that's the proper way to say that, guys, is Makini 90. I will say Makini all the time just because it's fun. But Makini 90, my friend. I know you have a stream coming up. Let's talk about it real quick before you go.
Okay, so. After a week off, we're returning with season 2 of Machina Live. I got the usual suspects plus probably an extra person as well in the chat. So it's gonna be great coming back and talking with my team and co-hosts Matt Thornberry, Bruce Bardo, and definitely a lot of people. They're looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to getting back in and getting that Sunday afternoon push going, and I'm really excited for it. So I get to be back in the saddle, really get to do the stuff I love in front of crowd just for you guys. And you guys love the streams we do. We do have a pretty good turnout, a pretty solid turnout, especially in recent streams. We've had a really good turnout. So I can't wait. Everybody can't wait. So I'm just kind of building up, setting everything up. So, but yeah, I will put the link in the chat for season 2. I hope to see you guys there. Hopefully it's a lot of fun. Sundays usually are sillier kind of streams, and I think you guys are if you guys hopefully if this is your first time watching it, hopefully we get to entertain you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it so much we can come back for more. So, but yeah, thank you everybody so much. Thank you so much, Culture, for having me on the stream.
Oh, you bet, man. Thank you so much.
Every single person in the chat. I know I got to run because I have so many people in the back. I have some people already set up in the back stage.
All right. Well, I'm glad you can join Makini. You are a gem, and I appreciate you so very much. And I can't wait for more. I can't wait for more art from you. Whenever you have time, my friend, I can't wait to see it.
I will be working on it today. I will be working on it.
All right, sir. And now, of course, we have the Gilk Man, who, if there's any other mods in my chat right now, if you can drop both Makini's links and the Gilk Man's, I would appreciate it. Thomas, I know you've got to leave us as well. Please say your final words and thank you so very much for joining us.
Don't go, Thomas.
I know. He's got stuff to do.
Or it's a 70 degrees day. Sure. I'm off from work. I'm gonna go on a walk to a waterfall. Stop ruining me, you.
Oh, you're going to a waterfall without me? Come on.
Yeah, I told you, you and Cassie can come over here whenever y'all want. I'll bring you to waterfall, but y'all are missing out. So you know what? I'm gonna go to the waterfall. I'm gonna post some incredible pictures. I'm gonna make y'all jealous, just like I did the Five Guys picture. But
I dare you.
Gosh damn it, Ords. This is why you're never allowed back on. Shit. Fuck. Anyways, guys, I am the Gilk Man. I don't cover videos, pertaining to pop culture, or for the most part, except for the Connery passing. I use my channel to blog. I do host in really fun streams from time to time. I don't know when I'm doing another one. I mostly hang out in the chats of people's streams, support them, send super chats, fling money everywhere to everyone. Thank you so much, CultureCasino, for having me on. I would love to have you on stream sometime in the future. It was a pleasure being on the stream with you, Miriosphere, and Mando, and AFK. I love ya. You're a fucking sap. Oh shit! Can I curse?
Sap.
We don't usually do it very much on this channel, but you can.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. AFK, I love you. You're a sap. Suck it up. Get over it. Ord, I love you, brother. Text me later. I can still kick your ass and kick your butt in Call of Duty and Mario Kart. I retired Ord's board from Mario Kart, folks. He hasn't played me since.
That might be true, but there's no way you beat me at COD.
Let's test it, sir. Exactly. Have a good day, good night, good morning. I'm going to go and chase a waterfall down and represent geeksandgamers.com. Subscribe to Intoxicated 3PO.
Yes, please.
There, you got your shout out. Drunk, be happy. Much love. And the Gilk Man will take
the Gilk Man
right about now.
Thanks, Thomas.
Here's the thing. He's like, can we swear on your channel? No, you can't. But Culture does come over to everybody else's channel and let loose. I'm just letting everybody know that Culture. There's two sides to Culture. There's the Culture Casino, and then there's the Culture Casino.
That's right. Yeah, on this channel, I try to limit it. But on gaming streams, I tend to get a little saltier. Yeah. So no, I think it happens. And if you get me talking about the things that frustrate me, I tend to use the bad word occasionally. And I have to say, this was amazingly long conversation on things that we've only been through two things. This is amazing. You guys are great. So I say, unless you guys have something else to say on the subject matter, I think that this is very. I'm gonna say my final words, and you guys can have them as well before we move on. But I think this is a very poor marketing idea. If somebody thinks that this is going to sell their product, I think they're doing it very badly. I also think it's a very bad sign that the streaming services would not even provide half as much money as they were looking to sell this product for, because they went to Apple, Netflix, Amazon, and several others that I'm told, and they said, we want to sell this for $600 million, and they said, well, we won't even give you $300 million for it. That's bad. So I think that this is poor marketing, and I think that, I think if this was they're trying to play that particular card, I think it was a bad plan. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a bad marketing thing. For me personally, I'm a huge James Bond. Or the first James Bond movie I saw was Dark No, then From Russia with Love, because my parents were huge Bond fans, and they introduced me to the series with the Connery films first. And I remember when I saw Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig one, right?
See the new one?
Yeah, Casino Royale. And I saw that, I'm like, this wasn't Bond. To me, it's just like, cause I grew up with the Sean Connery, and then later on I saw the Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan films. Only saw the Roger Moore ones later, and those were good, but they're more campy and silly, which stands for the time. Yeah. But I don't know, to me, like, one of my favorites is always going to be From Russia with Love and You Only Go Twice. So.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, a certain amount of camp in the Moore film, even in the Brosnan films, to be honest with you. But once they started to move away from the gadgets and the gimmickry that spies utilize, or at least the spy James Bond as we know, it changed the tone of the films, and they got grittier, and they turned in. And this is a conversation I had with Stieg the other day when I did my stream. Was it yesterday? Holy cow, it was yesterday. About my favorite Bond films, and his as well. We took our top 10 Bond films, and we talked about it. We said that the way Bond's done right now, it's more like a Jason Bourne. Yeah, than it is a James Bond. Yeah. So, anyone else have any thoughts on the marketing of this film?
Yeah. So here's the thing with it. When it comes to marketing this film, you have evidence to suggest that this is not the proper way to market your film. My suggestion with it would be, if you're going to introduce some kind of other character to this, put that character in there as kind of a no-name character in the background a little bit. You know the person's name. They don't interact a whole lot, but there's other things going on in the background. And then you slowly introduce that character throughout it. And just don't talk about it. Just don't sell it like it's, oh, hey, we're gonna have the first female character of this thing. Like, nobody wants to sell it like that. Just put it in there and let it be what it is, and let the audience decide. Stop trying to use the politics to sell, because we obviously have plenty of numbers to show you that doesn't work. Look what happened. They tried to launch, what was it, the New Mutants or the Snowflake Safe Space? They tried to launch it twice. Like, it got canceled as an individual comic, and then they tried to re-release. Like, it doesn't work.
Well, it didn't work, and it didn't work even as a trade. Believe me, because guess who doesn't have their Amazon copy that they ordered? This guy.
Exactly. Yeah. So with that being said, real quick, going into the popularity of this franchise, like, not only did this franchise spawn one of the most popular video games for Nintendo 64, 007, right? Right. Yeah. So it not only does it transcends movie. Think about it. Austin Powers, one of the funniest comedies. Even if you didn't like Bond films, you liked this movie. Yeah. It spawned. It crosses. Genres. It crosses all different things, man. It just encompasses such a huge part, I think, of us as a society and our childhood, or growing up. Everybody's got a Bond for their generation, so it spans genres, it spans all kinds of it spans generations. So if you're gonna do this, you got to do it right. That's my final.
I think so. And because AFK's got to run, because AFK's got other obligations as well, we have to say our goodbyes to AFK Bard and allow her the opportunity to tell you how awesome her Stranger Things stuff is that she does, and her reading book streams that are very enjoyable. If you want to have some escapism, she gives you that via your own mind's eye. AFK Bard, please take it away.
Oh, wow. You kind of did it for me there. We're wrapping up Stranger Things this week. It's been dragging, and we thought we will just do a whole shebang. So we're going to talk about the last 4 episodes of season 3. Me and Ian DeVries, aka Mega Geek, on Tuesday at 2:30 Pacific Standard.
Yeah.
And after that, it's kind of up in the air a little bit, but they're still going to be doing some reviews on Tuesdays. But we're going to actually start picking like our guilty pleasure type movies, like something that we enjoy watching, and then we'll watch it and then we'll review it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And I'm thinking that like I might like invite other people who have like guilty pleasure movies that they want to talk about. So keep that in mind.
Oh, sure.
That's
You
awesome.
you know I'm up to talk about some of those things from time to time.
That's great.
So absolutely, yeah. I know Ords. Ords talks about everything, dude. Ords is well informed. Don't
I
let
don't
the
know
hair
about
and the beard fool you.
I don't know about that. I just look. Here's the thing, man. The reason I started the channel was because I had a hard time keeping up with all the stuff coming out, man. So I was like, well, if I make a channel, I kind of have to force myself to know what's going on. So that's kind of where it's at. But yeah, no, that was a great point, AFK.
Well, thank you so much again, AFK. You really do help us out on these streams and keep us centered. I mean, legitimately. So thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm keeping Ord centered right now between you and me. But there we go. So, yeah, no, thanks again for letting me hang. Sorry I have to run, but y'all are really awesome. And yeah, Bond needs to stay as Bond because otherwise Bond isn't Bond. So
yeah, I agree with you. All right, make sure we get AFK Bard's link up in the chat, guys. If you're a mod for me, please do that if you can. And thank you, AFK. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's a question: why have we not seen the comic book crossover of Austin Powers and James Bond?
I think that would be brilliant. I think a lot of it comes down to licensing, dude.
Yeah, baby.
They're prevented from doing so much fun stuff because of licensing. It's just these likenesses are owned by these places, but just for fun and because you brought up video games, I want to move into our next subject. But go ahead, Mirsphere, what you got?
Was last thing, and it's also this is a good point. What Gary from the Rock user says all the time that comic books kind of predestined what everything else is going to follow. Right? He always says this, and this is why Bond won't sell is because desexualization of all these franchises. Comic books, people are like, oh, you can't let the women look sexy. You can't let the men look sexy. They don't talk about the men, but it's the women. You can't have big breasts, and no real woman looks like that, blah, blah, blah. This is why manga is freaking outselling comics by fuckloads, because they're like, fuck you, we're going to do what we want to do. And now movies, and guys, sex sells. Okay, Hollywood, sex sells. For both men and women. Why do you think Aquaman was so popular? Because the dude took his shirt off. Why did he take his shirt off? Because he looks sexy, and women are going, damn. Men do the same thing with women. It's just, that's how humanity works. We want to look at beautiful things, and nobody wants to see, especially that new warrior crap where it's like fat lady, backpack, superhero. Yeah. No matter stuck on the floor of a building on fire, I have to worry about this chunky chick run up all these stairs to come get me. No, nobody wants to see that. I do not want to see my dad bod self on the big screen.
It's just hilarious too because the new warriors or the new weirdos, as I call them. I mean, look. If they're going to be operating, say they were a real team and they operated in New York, I would really be able to beat them up one-handed. I'm not but I'm better shape than all of them.
It's like no matter how hard they try, they're never going to beat out the inherent biological desires that is the reason sex sells in the first place. No matter how many comic books you make where you desexualize these people are still going to want to look at hot men. People are going to still want to look at boobs.
Right, I have something up for women.
I made a video when CBR went after One Piece because of the female look. I'm like, have you guys watched One Piece? They have all kinds of crazy shit on it.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting, because this is getting into our next subject. I want to acknowledge this one thing before I say the following commentary. That is called the Pink Panther, if you want to mix Bond and Powers. It's absolutely right. The Pink Panther films. Sellers does a brilliant job. We are actually, Stieg and I are going to invite a couple other folks on, and he and I are going to talk about the Pink Panther. The Pink Panther films. It's going to be great. We're going to rank them and talk about them.
I love that movie because at the end, when they had the credits, they had the actual cartoon Pink Panther coming out. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That was great. I was like, yes.
It's weird because we have to move on. We can go on and on. Bond is something that is a touchstone for everyone. Okay, so we can definitely do that.
Can I just say I agree with the memes of destruction? He says Jason.
Which part?
Well, he says Mimosa,
Mimosa
is a beautiful man. Yes,
Dude,
yes, memes.
yeah.
Yes, he is a very beautiful man. Anyway,
What? Kato, yeah, Kato. I know, most offensive treatment of an Asian character ever in Pink Panther. Kato. So great. Anyway, all right, stop. We got to move on. We got with one more topic at least, guys. Just
video
one more.
games. Let's go.
All right, here we go. We're going to fire into video games. And one of the segues I was going to use for like the last 10 minutes was the fact that now in video games, you can customize your junk. Or at least that's what you're going to get to do.
Well, that's in Cyberpunk.
Yes, in
Cyberpunk.
Exactly. Cyberpunk 2077
Massive balls.
on December 10th. You can create whatever kind of character you want, right? But my question is going to be this. After the novelty of that wears off, what kind of character are you going to create? It's going to be just somebody who's realistic to you, male or female, whatever you
at this image.
Exactly. If you can replicate that in the game, the one my goodness, Mando Merc is using there. I keep confusing your two streams. It's gonna bother cast in the Merc of the Shadows of Mando. I don't know. Whatever your two channels are that we
Cyberjunk.
Yeah. Okay, Cyberjunk. Okay, so that channel that you have, you're going to be able to customize your thing, but it's still going to represent a character that you find aesthetically pleasing. That's just how we do things as humans.
I mean, here's the kind of character I'm going to be making.
Hey now, all right.
What she got up front, buddy? Turn it around.
Let's see it. Yeah, I don't think he can. I think he grabbed that off CityWire or something.
No, that was it's concept art that.
Is it? All right.
You guys just wait till you see what I make in this game. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Cyberjunk.
She's not going to have a wing in the front.
But you could, if you were in, and this will tell you how much I pay attention to pop culture. Here we go. If this ends up being a Futanari character of some sort, then it's good on you. It's whatever works for you. That's the cool thing. But still, no matter what, those characters that people will create because of the way we're wired as human beings will be aesthetically pleasing. Because our eye sees beauty in the golden ratio. So, more often than not, you will create characters of beauty. That's just the way it is. Something that is aesthetically pleasing to you. Just be prepared. So, that's the point.
In-game ad, by the way, what I have right now.
Yep. And that's the point at which everybody loses their mind in the gaming industry. Not everybody. I'm sorry. Everybody in the gaming media. The gaming urinalists, as they're often referred to, they lose their mind. Their mind. And they do it because, everybody wanted to play the guy in, this game, or everybody wanted to pick the hot chick or whatever. And I'm telling you right now, there are only two appealing characters that I have found in the latest Watch Dogs game. Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, how is that?
It's terrible. But I mean, it's not the worst game I've ever played, right? I haven't played it long enough to give it a real review, but I'm very disappointed. Some of the things I anticipated to be a lot more straightforward were not. The tutorial, the getting to know the game level was very poorly done. The mechanics are similar to the previous game, but not. Easy to grasp. What's the word there? Intuitive. They're not as intuitive. There are some things now. It could just be because I am making the transition from a console to a PC to do this game, but I'm still using a controller. So I'm like, how could this be that different? Shouldn't be. The controls should all be the same. So it's just one of those things, and I think we're going to start to see more and more people just laugh off these gaming journalists because who cares? We're provided with all of these things, but honestly, who cares? It doesn't change the game we're playing. And that's not even the conversation we were going to have about video games, guys. The place we were going was, that is yellow journalism. Yep, game urinalism is yellow journalism. Mostly. If it's a different color, you should probably go to the doctor.
I'm
But,
holding back so many jokes right now.
Yeah, I know. But like you said, I want to move into what we were going to talk about, which is kind of the greed that exists in the gaming industry, right?
The lack of regulation that causes that greed too.
Exactly,
Especially
and so and with a lot of these companies. So the article that I pulled up, of course, is this one. There are 3 takeaways from Activision Blizzard's Q3 earnings. This is the same article that I believe Mandos shot over to me, so I'd already clipped it. So we'll just go off the clipped one. Mando, if you want to go through this, we can.
I'll let you do the honors.
Are you sure?
Well, okay. I mean, I might just rant a little bit.
Okay.
I currently have like over 13 tabs open on this subject.
All right. Okay. Well, good.
Then so I can tell you right now, like EA has earned how much was it? Not, I was going to say nearly $1 billion, but I think it was over $1 billion worth of just from microtransactions alone.
Yes.
Activision Blizzard made $1.2 billion in microtransactions last quarter.
Just in a quarter, guys. This is 1 quarter.
Yeah, they're laying off hundreds of people.
Last quarter of this year. Last quarter of this year.
Yeah, like I said, they're laying off hundreds of people for what?
Yeah. In 2018, they had a record year. Only for February of 2019 for them to fire, I think it was approximately 775 employees, which is exactly 8% of their workforce. Because they have a total, or rather had a total of 9,600 employees.
And I think they done that in a few times in the last couple of years where they've gotten or they let go of like a big number of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because the money that they make from microtransactions does not go to the developers. It goes to the executives in the corporation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that is the problem. Well, one of the many problems. Also, the fact that anything above 99 freaking cents is not micro anymore.
Well, and that's the other thing. They're really not micro. When you're looking at $4.99 for a basic, skin, that's not micro anymore. No. That's not 99 cents. You're spending $5. So that's an excellent point. And that's a game aesthetic.
Or green.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, let me just say, because I did a 3-hour live stream last night just ranting about this type of thing.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the excuse, it's cosmetic, doesn't affect gameplay, is the biggest load of shit ever. Because it does affect gameplay. How many times have you played X game mode, or take Halo 3, for instance? You had to do the Vidmaster Challenge in order to get the Recon helmet. And if you saw someone wearing the Recon helmet, you went, oh my god, he completed that challenge. I've been trying to do that for 5 months now. It's like, or, with...
Or I bought it.
No, well, now it's buy it. Yeah, now it's buy it. But then there was no buying. It was just, you got a $6 game, and it was in the game at launch. But yeah, like the point is, cosmetics affect how you're playing the game, because you want a certain skin or a piece of armor or whatever it is to make your character look the way you want it to look, to make yourself look cooler or whatever.
Yeah. See, it's like there's value in doing it that way, where it's like you get replay value, right? For the people who are actually spending the $60 for the game, for the people who are actually invested in the IP that we're playing on, or whatever the case may be, we're investing our money into it, and that offers replay value. It offers value to the actual game itself. However, it's that how can we monetize it right now? How can we get the most for our money right now? And like you said, if that money's not going back into invest into the company to make better games, to grow, if it's just going to the CEOs and the people who, then they're not in the right industry, man. Like look at Blizzard back in the day. What was Blizzard known for back in the day? They were known for their games, the heart and soul that they put into their video games, right?
You can say that about a lot of companies too. Activision, Activision pretty much made all of the superhero games.
Yes.
Wolverine, Spider-Man, all those great games that were just solid games at launch, and that was it.
So they take the value out of the replay of the game, and then they put it into a quick sale.
Yeah.
The best analogy is one I've been using for years now, which is current games are like they sell it's like a cake. You go to a bakery, you buy a cake, you pay for the full price of the cake.
Yes.
But then the baker hands you only a slice and then charges you extra for the remaining slices, even though you paid for the full thing.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
Well, it's and then all of a sudden now they're going to do that, but now they're withholding the icing. So even after you get the whole cake, you still have to apply your icing. It's just they're finding different ways. And then if you wanted birthday candles, well, you only get those one at a time. You know what I'm saying? It's just and here's the problem. Right now, they're getting into big trouble in Europe and some other countries because they've identified loot boxes as gambling.
Yep.
I have articles.
And I know you do, man. I know, and I don't think we can go too long on this subject. That's the problem. Right. But it's just it's one of those things, and I know we're going to be in a position next week on the Gaming Lounge, whoever's hosting that, where we may have to step the panel up a little bit bigger because we have so much to cover next. I think we'll be in at least 2 hours of stuff because, as McKinney 90 pointed out, we've got console releases coming up, all kinds of things next week.
If you got room, man, if you got room, throw me in.
Hey, Ords, I think you might already be like one of the folks. I'm not. Again, I haven't looked at any of that stuff. I just think the panel's going to be bigger than our new format.
Someone needs to send me the schedule.
I will. It's my fault.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, well, I just haven't had the chance to link you to the thing.
How's that?
Yeah, it's fine.
You haven't had the chance. You've been busy.
Oh, I know. But you guys, I try to take care of everybody. You guys know that. But look, this is a problem in the gaming industry because they are losing their heart and soul, like you were talking about, Mando. But at the same time, the companies that we relied on, the ones that we kept gravitating towards, were the ones that were maintaining the heart and soul of the gaming community. Ubisoft, for a while, they were doing that. Then they were gone. They're gone the way of the the greed.
Started on Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
No, please. Yeah. See, and one of my favorite games to play still.
Much time.
Yeah, one of my favorite games to play still is one of the Ghost Recon games. I played Wildlands. I still play it. I go back and play it on the console all the time. But then we lost Bethesda. Bethesda went the way of the wind. So it's like all we have left that is gamer consumer friendly is CD Projekt Red.
Yep.
And even they are going to have to, in their multiplayer, they're going to have some form of microtransaction. As long as it's truly microtransaction, I don't think it'll be punishing. But in order to maintain their servers and games as a service, which unfortunately multiplayer games, the minute you do that, you're essentially creating a service. In order to maintain all that stuff, you have to charge people a subscription fee or buy microtransactions. There's no other way to do it. Now, I'm in favor of subscription fees rather than microtransactions. I think that's the best way to go about it, and I think that's why Blizzard was successul with World of Warcraft for so long. There wasn't any of those shenanigans.
I was going to use them as an example. I think with that, at least with Blizzard, they're using this $15 a month or whatever it is nowadays. I haven't played in many, many years. Back like Wrath of the Lich King. Anyway, that's a good way to do it because you're using that money to maintain servers, to update things, to have like seasonal events, and okay, that's cool. But yeah, I'm with you, man. That's an interesting point too. And then what does it say? Predicted that the video game industry is going to decline rapidly. Look at recent failures without Fallout 76, Avengers, Anthem. Oh, Anthem, don't even get me started. High turnover of talent. Oh yeah, that's a good point. All these people who are leaving these game companies to either A, start their own,
yes,
or B, to take a less of a role within the company because assuming that they don't want to be a part of the shenanigans.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people doing that. I mean, I know Mando can talk about it at length, but there's a brand new company that was formed out of like all of the most important people in Blizzard recently. Yeah. They lost everybody.
Everybody who created World of Warcraft left. Created their own company.
There's also a new company that was started by the Techland devs and ex-CD Projekt Red guys.
That's right.
Like people that worked on Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Called Stewart Industries. Star Wars Industries. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then there's another one. There's another one that's founded by some Chinese nationals, not Tencent, not Chinese government people, that are making an amazing game that we actually got to see cutscene from on one of our gaming lounge shows. So we are starting to see the industry change. I think that overall, the large stuff, Roof Korean makes a good point.
No, I don't necessarily think we're going to see the rapid decline of it, but just like with the comic book industry and the entertainment industry, what you're going to see is you're going to see independent creators start to actually get noticed. Now, a perfect example, I'm not exactly sure who created the game Among Us, but I believe that is that an independent developer who created that game. That's not somebody underneath like Activision or anybody, right?
No, that's an indie. That's an indie, and it's been out for a while.
Exactly.
A couple of years.
It's been out for 2 years. And guess what? I talked about this last night, but guess what made that game a success now, 2 years later? Word of mouth.
Right. No, absolutely. This is exactly my point. So I don't think that the video game industry is going to decline. It's going to shift. And you have a game like Among Us. You have a game like Among Us that takes little to no power to run. You can run it on your phone anywhere you are. But the gameplay is what people love about it. We're hopefully these independent creators are going to go back to basics and focus on gameplay. It's the same reason why people play Diablo 2. How many freaking years? 20 years at this point now? 20 years now. They've been playing Diablo 2 for 20 years. Yes, graphically, it's not the greatest game nowadays by any means, but the gameplay is there. People are willing to support gameplay over the bells and the whistles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, and here's some news you guys may not know. Right now in development, probably getting ready to release, if it has not already, is a 3D version of Among Us. You'll be able to play as a 3-dimensional character.
That's awesome.
A 3D map. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff. You can check it out on Steam. Yeah. But look, and I agree with Grand Moff Inquisitor, consoles will be done in the following generation. I mean, our chat's on fire. Everybody here's lining up great points. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's Dreamhaven. Yep.
I don't know about the following generation. I think you're going to see the generation after this heavily geared towards it, but I still think you're going to have some slick looking console, and then I think it'll be that generation after that where it's like all just straight digital. That's just my thoughts.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, before I get to Ken Jack Ben, I'm gonna do the one right before him with Soul Assassins, which is, do you not have cell phones? Worst thing you could ever say at a con.
That's why I said shut up, Soul Assassins.
Yeah. That is the worst thing you could say at a con. And you know what? We don't like phone games. There is a time and a place for them for sure. But if you're a true gamer, you don't want to play on your dang phone. Give us a real dang game. Yes, you can make a lot of money as a company on those stupid games. Sure, you can make a lot of money. You're alienating your customer base. We don't have a lot of time left, guys, and I want to give you plenty of time to promote your stuff, and we absolutely have to promote Lorena's stream. So let me just come down with this. We need to get rid of the greed. Ken Jack Ben, I like DLC. Give me legitimate DLC that adds to the story. I don't have a problem paying for it. I don't have a problem with the season pass that I'm sold to give me the DLC. Don't care. Just give me a final price on something and stop selling it to me incrementally. Yeah. So I like them adding to the story later on. That's what Grand Theft Auto 5 is done the best at with Grand Theft Auto Online. They add to the game
value.
Yeah, they add to the game consistently. With the online version, and in the new iteration of the game, guess what you're going to get to do on the new consoles? You're going to get to play some new missions that didn't exist in the previous game with the same voice actors and everything. So kind of cool. It's going to be some cool stuff.
This is
go ahead.
Enix with Final Fantasy 14 is outdoing World of Warcraft and Blizzard because they're constantly updating. You feel like you pay for a subscription, but you feel like you earned it, because they're constantly updating, constantly patching new things in. Every month, they're like, hey, we're going to come out with this new patch. It's going to have these quests, or it's going to have this side thing that you can do, or it's going to have this new thing with this, new raid or new dungeon, new, whatever. Blizzard doesn't do that. That's a problem.
They used to.
But now it's like, hey, here's our expansion. And in a year, we'll have like a tiny update, which will kind of expand the expansion a little bit, and then we'll have the next expansion.
Yeah.
Now it's constantly just making that subscription worth it.
I was just gonna say real quick, Ken Jack. I don't know, I'm all for expanding upon a game, and the expansion stuff was great. I remember being hyped for World of Warcraft expansions. That was such a fun era, and I'm all for expanding games through DLC. That's totally cool. But like Culture said, it has to add upon it, not fit in, you know, a
Real
hole that it was
DLC.
made before the game was released. You know what I mean? It has to add to it, add on to it, be something you never experienced within that game for it to be worth it for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I look. I think Ken Jack Bem's right. I mean, I love good DLC if it legitimately is DLC. It's just I am offended when you try to sell me stuff that was developed for the original game that you carved out. That's a problem. You want to add more? Sure, I'm all about it. So anyway, guys,
it feels like it's half the game, and then you're like, and the year now will release this part of the game, and then a year from now will release. It's like that should have been.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And you know what? Biggles Mets is on fire also. Well, the problem with Blizzard is BFA. It's the worst expansion of all time. There is no doubt about that. They really did. They really hurt World of Warcraft with that expansion. And consoles are not done. Consoles will never be done. That's like saying Nintendo's going to decide to go out of business. No, but they will have significantly less impact in the market, would be my guess, after this generation. I think the only ones that will remain as viable console businesses will probably be Nintendo. I mean, you highlighted they know their business. They know the people they're selling to. They know the games that will work on their platforms. They are entertaining every time. And they have limited DLC on a lot of that stuff, except for obviously the major developer stuff.
And Nintendo's continuously innovating different things. Even if it fails in the market, they go back, they try something new. I mean, look at the Wii U. What happened after the Wii U? We got the Switch, right? So they're constantly trying to invent new things, even if it fails. Like, I mean, we got what's the robot for NES? You know what I mean? Like that old robot you could get. Like, I just say they're always inventing innovative with their products, and it's fun to me. So yeah, I think you're right on the Nintendo front there.
Yeah, Pod Racing Palpatine sends a pound 99 super sticker and super chat that says "Do it." That's Pod Racing. Words to live by. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pod Racing Palpatine. We absolutely have to wind down. So I'm going to say the following things. Number one, thank you all for being here today. Thank every single one of you that came by the chat today. Thank every one of you that are watching currently on the replay. You guys are amazing. You're the whole reason we're here. These kinds of conversations can happen without politics in them. We can do it, guys. It works. You don't have to fall prey to that stuff, and you don't have to participate in it. And I promise you, I will continue to try to limit that on my channel. Now, if you see me somewhere else, you might see me talking about some politics. You might actually hear me say a dirty word or two. But I can say this. The more that we can ignore the things that the industry wants us to take our attention away from, the things that we love, enjoy, and support, the more we're just being distracted. We absolutely have to support the things that we love going forward in the future and shun the things, and I hate to use that word, but it's absolutely accurate, shun the things that are destroying it. So anyway, thank you all so very much. I'm going to let everybody say goodbye on the way out. We'll start with my friend down below me, Mando Merck. Mando, do your thing, my friend.
All right, I'm Mando Merck, and I have a second channel called Casting the Shadows. I'm the busiest man of the YouTube, the internet, and fandom that is alike. And I actually finished my schedule. Culture, if you'd be so kind to share the screen.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and here we go.
So this is just the live stream schedule. So every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday night, we're going to be doing live streams on YouTube. However, Monday nights will be on Twitch just because they aren't part of Casting Shadows. It's just a personal. I'm playing games with friends. So there's not really going to be. There's just going to be shenanigans and stuff. But everything else is going to be either news oriented or just, as Escapism Live implies, we're just going to be playing games and having fun. And eventually, when Cyberpunk comes out, Tuesdays will be all about Cyberpunk. So we'll just be playing every Tuesday, Cyberpunk, using the chat to kind of help me make decisions and stuff. Because I want the chat to be kind of playing with me in a way. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much. I love this schedule, dude. You put that together brilliantly. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So now we move on to the Mirasphere's origin. Let's get his mug up here. There he is. What's up, my friend?
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, wait. You're not Mirasphere. The format changed on me.
Wow.
Boomer.
He needs a. You need a nap, Culture.
I need
I
a
just
nap.
overdo it. I'm all over, man. I can't figure out what to do.
Stop it. Just remote yourself or I'll put you in the back.
All right, I am the Manosphere Origins. Well, this is my studio. Hopefully soon I'll have a green screen and all that shit. So, yeah. As you know, I do Fridays with Wes. We do TNG talk about the last season. That is this weekend. This Friday is my last TNG stream. And then we will probably be moving on. When I get my office completely done, I'm going to do one of my big live streams. Is going to be getting into DS9. And that right now, I just finished DS9, by the way, and I just released a review over it. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. If you are not subscribed to me, please subscribe to me right here in the Manosphere. And share with your friends. I want to grow, and I'm only at, I think, 109 right now subscribers. So let's get me up there. And by the way, DS9 was the greatest Star Trek show so far that I've really enjoyed. So other than that, yeah. Got nothing much else.
All right, man. We're going to go over to Ords before we wind down completely. The man in the boardroom, my friend in gaming, my twin brother in the hairdo menace, Ords board.
All true. How you guys doing tonight? Anyway, real quick, if you guys want to see Culture Casino say some naughty words, come over to my channel tonight, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to attempt, because my computer has been trash lately. We're going to attempt our Sunday Night Hangs and video games, going back to Dead Island, trying to complete that. Not sure what we're going to do next, but you know it's going to be big. Anyway, you guys can find me at youtube.com/ordsboard. Here in the boardroom, I'll be doing pop culture news and commentary during the week, video game streams on the weekend. Friday night, we have an Among Us stream that we do, and it is a riot. If you guys like chaos and people talking all kinds of, it's adult. There's always a parental advisory at the beginning of it. So if you like that sort of thing, come check it out. I know some people in the chat have been there. It is a blast. So come hang out Friday nights at I think we start around 9:30. 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And I got to do more panel streams. I like this. I don't do enough of these. But thank you so much, Culture, for having me, guys. The chat is awesome. The chat is lit. So make sure you guys come by tonight and make my chat lit. I'd love to have you. And Culture will be there too. So you not only will you be supporting me, you'll be supporting this lovely man here, and the other half of the Hair to Menace. So thank you, Culture. It's been great. This was a great panel, man.
Dude,
anytime you want me on Sundays, dude, this is a perfect time.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. You have no idea how much. And someday we got to get Amber on here, man. We got to get both of you. It'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her. I'm trying to get her incorporated into the Among Us stuff more.
Oh yeah, I know. She should have played more. I should have dropped out more. I feel bad she didn't play very much with us the other night. That's so great. So, yeah. But all right, guys. Well, let me do this. I'm going to bring in the most important part of the show as far as I'm concerned today, and that's the promotion of others. Tonight, we have an amazing Welcome to Florida show. This one's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the book, obviously, Florida Man, the comic book, the graphic novel that's coming out. We are going to talk about the Q4 earnings predictions that we are making tonight on this show, talking about how much money Disney has lost in the last quarter. It's going to be substantial. And Lorena can definitely use your support as far as viewing hours because she is this close to monetization. So if we can just get her a few more 100 hours and give her a little cushion, then that would be fantastic. So if you have the time, stop by the chat, check out this stream. It's going to be amazing. It's live in 3 hours-ish or so.
Even if you guys got 2 minutes,
yes,
2 minutes
please.
Helps, man. 2 minutes, like as a content creator, and sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think this is a good point. As a content creator, for those of you in the chat and on this panel who are content creators, we understand it's hard to support everybody. 2 minutes, man. Even if you set it down for 2 minutes and you run it, that 2 minutes is such a big help. You guys have no clue. As somebody who's been closely monitoring their watch hours, it helps.
It does, and it's dramatic. And Lorena's probably one of the best out there already. And she's got plenty of followers now, which is not the problem. But hey, man, we always could use more subscribers, each and every one of us. So if you're not subscribed, consider that. But otherwise, please check her out. I would really appreciate it. I'd love to see all of you in the chat. Many of you I know I see in that chat, but I would love to see each and every one of you. So thank you so very much. Everybody else, I just want to say this. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody on the panel.
Absolutely.
It's very important that I end every single stream the same way because to me, these are words to live by. Be sure to take care of yourself. Take care of others. Wash your hands because it's good hygiene.
Wash your ass.
And until next time, bye.
See ya.